Bobby, do you need to react?
Yes, I do need to do re-asks.
And speed.
Well, Sigourney, we're sitting here having a little girl talk.
That's right.
Asking about your husband, Jim Simpson, and mentioning your new hairdo and all. You're looking wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I have to congratulate you on your performance. I thought, you were fantastic in Alien, but my gosh, this is even more fantastic.
Oh, well,
wonderful,
thank you very much.
Wonderful performance.
Thank you very much.
Yes, but after a while, especially toward the end of the movie, Sigourney, I was sitting there and you were doing your number with the gun and all, and I thought Sylvester Stallone is going to be so jealous.
Well, I used to call myself Rambolina when I had to do those scenes because I felt so. I think, well, the Yale School of Drama certainly didn't prepare me for this, But it was interesting.
Were they difficult for you?
Actually, I felt that the actual use of the guns was very difficult for me. I had a sort of an unanticipated, very uncomfortable reaction to shooting and killing things. I think I'm so glad that they were monsters and not people, because I think that would have been much, much harder. But I think that's good. I mean, I sort of tried to use that because I don't think Ripley is a violent person, especially after everything that's happened to her. So I think that the decision she finally makes to wreak havoc on the aliens is sort of a tiny explosion of madness for a second,
How practical is the gun? I mean, what does the gun actually do?
Well, there are 3 guns. One of them is your basic flamethrower, which you just squeeze the trigger and a huge dragon-like flame jumps out. And taped to it, I had a submachine gun, which would fire off about 17 rounds, and blanks would come out, which are like little casements. You had to actually be careful that you wouldn't be hit by other people's gun blanks coming out from the side. They were always very hot. And the other thing was a grenade launcher, which was in the front, and that was sort of the most fun thing, actually, because it had a big explosion when you used it. And I would have gun practice at sunset, and you'd see this person out there shooting away, in all these different positions. The only hard part really was the guns were extremely heavy, and that in all the sort of choreography, they had to really realize that you knew enough about what you were doing to turn and fire the right gun. You always were alternating the guns, so just to be sure you didn't pull the wrong trigger and ignite the stuntman by mistake, so that even the play guns are very dangerous, and I have a very healthy respect for them.
Were there any untoward incidents?
No, none, which is lucky, knock on wood. I think Jim was, everyone connected with the guns was adamant about how you carry them, how you hand them to each other. Sometimes the guns would lock, and that's dangerous because then when you pass it, it can sometimes go off. I mean, basically, we treated them like real guns, and so no one got hurt.
Did they have to twist your arm to get you to do this one?
Not really, maybe, slightly. My first reaction was that I wasn't crazy to do another one because the first one was, I thought, had stood up very well and was very innovative. But the story that Jim Cameron had created and his commitment to the character of Ripley and the set of circumstances that she's presented with at the beginning of the picture, which was that she comes back and she's been lost in space and her family is gone. No one believes her story. She is, in a sense, an outcast in the society. And it's the isolation of that and her memories that I think drive her back. I don't think she decides to go back to this planet to be heroic or for unselfish reasons. I think she basically goes because she needs something to keep her busy. And I don't think it's really till she meets this little girl on the planet that her desire to really live and that she's reignited somehow, and she becomes sort of like the old Ripley, who was very rational, very practical, and methodical.
I don't see any way this will not be a blockbuster hit. I mean, the word of mouth around here, I'm sure you're aware of, is just fantastic.
Oh, good.
So that brings up Alien 3.
Oh, well, I think that's, it took someone as talented and crazy as Jim Cameron, I think, to come up with a story that was as good as the first one. And I would be surprised if it could happen again. And I have a feeling if it happened again that Newt would have grown up, the little girl, and that she would be the one to go off and carry the guns through space.
Are you saying Sigourney would not do another one?
Well, again, I think they would have to twist my arm the next time. But of course, I didn't think I'd do this one either, so we'll see what happens.
What was your reaction, Sigourney, the first time you saw the film completed? Were you scared? Was it scary for you?
Only to see my work. You know, you finally have to sort of face. You know, there are always things that aren't what you wanted. But in terms of the actual movie, I was less scared this time. I don't know why. I was fascinated by the reactions around me because a lot of people were shrinking and screaming and laughing, and I knew most of them because some of them were my friends, and I said, well, how'd you like it later? And they go, oh, we loved it, but you would never think it to look at them because they were really squirming and hiding behind their sweaters. And I know one woman who literally saw the whole picture like that. I mean, she was like a yogi. It was very funny.
Well, it's got hit written all over it, Sigourney, and wish we had more time, but I thoroughly enjoyed this visit, as always.
Me too.
Thank you so much, and congratulations again on your performance. Really neat.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks. Great.
Just keep